happens. You're just not meeting somebody at 18, 19 after college and getting married and having kids anymore. So if you go ahead and get this policy while you're young, whenever you decide to have children, number one, your price is locked at a young person's age. Even the system and algorithms say, ooh, they still got forever to live. But if you wait 10 years, as society has now have it, 30s and 40-year-old women are having babies. And if you didn't get a policy from when you were 18, then now you're having a child, not only when you're more near death, but statistically and medically, you're having called a complication pregnancy because you're over 30, 35, maybe. I think it's a complication possible. So then they take all that into a factor. And now you might be paying $200-300. And then once the child comes, they'll charge you a little extra to add the child.
Hey, man, what's up?
All right. It was good, Mark. How's everything, man?
Yeah, I'm good. You hanging out today? Just chilling?
Yeah,
Working a lot today?
Yeah. I got some stuff and getting a lot of reports or a lot of phone calls asking me questions about that storm going on.
Dude, that's just crazy, no? What's
Yeah,
going on with that storm?
That's a
I mean,
monster storm.
185 miles an hour. They're talking about how, like, they're saying, like, there's no category 6. It's almost like it should be. That's how strong the storm is.
Yeah. I do that joke whenever I'm looking for some storm. I'm like, Cat 6. Let's get a Cat 6. It might have happened today and whatnot, but like you said, there is none. So that was like a super 5 and whatnot. Which, if that would have hit the United States anywhere, forget it. That would have been. I mean, and I mean, it would have only been worse with more rubble, more concrete, and stuff like that. But to a place like Jamaica, where not too many skyscrapers, those I heard a lot has been lost. A couple people have called. They can't find people. I have a specific friend who he feels that his boat might have ruined the home, so he might have gotten picked up and landed on his home and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I only heard from him because he's in Florida.
Yeah. So look, I'm looking at your title there, all things insurance. So, we're talking about the storm. Talk a little bit about yourself, what you do.
All right. Well, what I do is I travel to, I'm an insurance adjuster. So I travel to where the storms are. And if, let's say, any carrier who happens to be dominant in the area, if it's too much work for the locals, then they'll go ahead and ask me to help out. And we can stay there. The longest I've stayed somewhere is about 6 months on a catastrophe.
So
a year
when
on
you
a
say a carrier, what do you mean by a carrier? What's a carrier?
like State Farm or Allstate. They'll go ahead and put an all points bulletin out call for all of adjusters in the country to come in.
So
and
when you say adjuster, so you essentially, your job is you go and you determine who should get money and how much, or how does that work?
I'll calculate money. I have an estimating program that'll go ahead and I have to input all of the damages. Each of the damages they call a line item, and each line item has a cost. To screw in a light bulb has a cost. To wrap a utensil, a knife or a spoon, and just in case you need to put your stuff in storage because of a storm, has a cost to it. Every nail, every shingle. So you put all that together, which can be quite a few line items, and then at the end, the total number will be what it would cost to go ahead and fix the property or the damage.
Okay, so help me out here. So I have a house somewhere in Texas, Florida, something like that. One of these mad, stupid storms comes and destroys my property. I bought it. I thought I got all the insurance I needed to get. I'm doing what I think I need to do. I'm a first-time home buyer. When these storms comes in, wrecks me. Okay, what do you typically see in a situation like that? You show up, and what happens? Like, paint a picture for me from the perspective of me, you. I mean, you know what I'm starting to get at. Like, give me an idea of what that looks like for you.
All right. Well, there was a storm in 21 maybe, and it was in Texas. It was during the winter, which is crazy. They had and they called it Snowmageddon, because Texas got some snow. It was like an inch, half an inch or inch of snow, but the snow wasn't the problem. We're up here in the Northeast where we have to outfit everything for the four seasons. So once it starts getting cold, you get that antifreeze up in your pipes, or you do what you have to do with your car as well to go ahead and winterize it. But in Florida, I mean, not Florida, in Texas, there is no winterization. They
Well,
don't know
Florida
what it
too, right?
is. Yeah, they don't know what it is to be, in the dead of cold. So it actually got to -2 or -11. Regardless, it's a negative degrees in Texas, and the whole state went through pipe bust. So in Texas or in the South, they find different ways to put your pipes in the home. They can find out here, mostly it would be in the ground, sometimes right in the middle of the home, or it could be on the side of the home, back porch, right after your back door. And but in Texas, they put I went to quite a few homes. They call them dog houses. One specific home had dog houses on all four sides of his roof. And he separated pipes for the side of the homes in these dog houses on top of the roof. So all of those pipe bust. So when I get there, it's a sheet of ice.
So the pipes bust. That means they broke open.
Yep, they broke open and froze over because it was negative in the negatives out there. So that was something new for the entire state. They were freaking out, and I'm freaking out because being from New York, pipe busts happen here on a regular because it can get too cold. And I'm like, you mean the whole state? So it was a unique thing where everyone had pipe busts. It wasn't roofs messed up or anything. So going back to that, um, one person's house with the dog houses, it destroyed everything. And he had a humongous home, a young guy who happened to be an auto adjuster, and that couldn't help him out that day. And he everything. So when I got there, they had already taken down all the walls. The guy's home, of course, was fully furnished. Young guy, he was single, but he had his home fully furnished. I think he had his mom staying with him too. She was visiting from wherever cold state she's from, so she had to pretty much go back home, and he had to stick it out. But all the walls were gone, both floors. It's like three bedrooms upstairs, three bedrooms downstairs. Had like a four-car garage, and I mean, it's the most emptiest or most damage I've seen in a home without wind-driven rain, which in those cases, like 150 miles an hour would lift the roof for
Mm-hmm.
the whole time that it's blowing, that is the storm is active. And during the whole time while it's in the air, all the water in the rain will get in through all the cracks and crevices. And then when the wind stops, the roof will just drop, boom, and it further damaged the home. But this was just straight water because of frozen pipes. So that was almost everyone's home that I went to was pretty much a total loss, up to almost 90% of their limit, because you include the furniture as well. And I would say 90, 80% of their limit because the shell is still there, but you still would have to winterize, waterproof the walls again, paint inside, outside. So it's almost like a complete rebuild.
And these people, they would get money from insurance to rebuild their homes based on your experience. That experience.
All right. So the biggest takeaway from that experience is you'll go over and then they'll be like, hey, I have insurance. I have insurance. And then sometimes I have to break some news for some things that they may not be covered for because who reads the fine print? So when I go
Okay,
into these
that's what I want to
homes,
get to.
yeah, when I go into these homes, I'm automatically defusing because they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So then I, do what I do and tell them to go ahead and get their policy, and then we'll comb through the policy. And I'm like, you signed it, so they're able to absorb, that they can't get covered for certain things. And then I go through the whole policy with them and tell them, look, man, you need this, you need this. You might as well get this because look what just happened here. And by the time I leave the home, they have a full understanding. It'll hurt of why they're not getting covered, but then they also get a full understanding of what they need to have to be completely covered, eyes closed.
So okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because I've heard of stuff like this for decades, right? You go in, I'm going to go buy a house, and I think I'm covered. right? I don't know. I mean, how do you know what you need to know, right? So I'm like, I'm trying to get covered. I'm trying to make sure that if something happens, I'll get my money and I can rebuild or whatever. So I'm going in and I don't know, and then a situation like this happens. What's your advice? Like, how would you counsel someone like me, for example, want to buy a house? I have no clue. I'm ready to go get covered. What would you like? How would you counsel, or what kind of what are the basics that a person should think about when they think about getting insured?
Well, the first thing is to remember that in these days of value, or I feel this is too much money, can you do better? Is to remember that when you're speaking to this agent, you got to speak to an agent to get a policy regardless. It can't be any kind, you have to speak to someone and then they'll ask you about your home. And you got to be like completely honest so that they can go ahead and give you the best package possible. But these days, like I said, that even businesses don't want to scare away prospects by giving them outrageous prices. They'll go ahead and assume that let's just get them this little coverage and then they'll be good. So if
So it's a catch 22 because if you tell somebody, look, you need A, B, C, and D, and E and F, because you never know, you're gonna scare this person away. They're gonna go to somebody else who's gonna tell them something different. Then they're not
Yep.
really fully covered,
Yeah.
right? And then something happens, and then they're screwed. So you're really talking about a communication issue, really, right? In terms of
Yeah. A lot of assumption, and what it is just be transparent. If you're like, honestly, if you should absolutely hope for the business, but don't force the business, because now you're screwing the homeowner, and that homeowner can't really come back and do anything to that agent. There are some towns that are small enough, or if it's the culture of that town, they want their agent in on the action. So a lot of times I have to stay in contact with the agent, and it's really for the happiness of the client, because I assume the first time the agent would know what I'm talking about, and when I would get into the nitty gritty of the claim, they were like completely oblivious. And from what I hear, they designed it to separate that responsibility from the agent, which should mean that their time should be educating properly, the customers. But
so is
it
this
doesn't.
one of these? So is this one of those situations where, okay, I'm spending X amount to get this house. I'm putting real money into it. You know what I mean? My
Mhm.
deposits and everything else. Is this one of those situations where it makes sense to tell somebody, look, spend the money,
Yeah. Yep. And of course, have an
spend the
option if
money.
they don't have it, because if you want to try and retain them, you be like, look, man, this is what you should do. If you do this, eyes closed, everything's covered, everything. But and if they, express that that's too much money, then I guess you try to work out with them, but let them know too, before they leave the office, so the messenger doesn't get shot when I show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is it sounds like you want to tell somebody, like when you're thinking about buying a house,
Hmm.
factor in the fact that you're going to spend a lot of money on insurance
Yeah, and
as part of the whole process.
to go even further with that, if you're buying a home, it should be getting inspected. And let's go with that example with Miami and the building that fell. The builder is not going to get charged for that. They're not even looking for the builder. They're looking for the person who A-okayed it. And that would be the inspector, because they always do an inspection before they
Of
sell a
course.
home, also get insurance. But if there's no transparency in the sale, you know what I mean, then the real estate agent can get kind of caught up in that. But how often does a real estate agent get, you know, um, some justice done by him or her being not transparent? I have a friend who just bought a home and had to get a roof not too long afterwards, and
Really?
it's due because that inspector said the roof was good, and they didn't.
That's
She
horrible.
called me when she brought the home and was like, "Hey, make sure." I was like, "Do you have a basement?" Because that's one of the biggest things
Yeah. Yeah.
people don't check for. She's like, "No, I don't have a basement." She explained where the water heater was and everything like that. And if the fence is connected to the home, then the fence will be considered part of the home. If it's not connected, it's a separate part of your policy. and stuff. So, it's even before the or before the sale, the transparency of the person who did the inspection. But then again,
Mhm.
the homeowner should exude their own.
Well, this is what I'm getting at, right? I mean, there's a lot of blame that can go around, and it's all legitimate, clearly. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this major purchase. I mean, how many? I mean, what are the major purchases you're going to make in your life? What are the
Yeah.
major decisions, right? Having a
Yep.
child, getting married, buying property, things like that. It's not like renting an apartment.
Nah.
Okay? You're about to own this property. You're
Yeah.
going to be the owner.
Yep.
I mean, granted, you're paying down a loan, but you're still the owner.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's involved. Just the process of buying a home, it's involved, and you know that going in, and you're ready to do the work. So shouldn't it be? And of course, this is just my opinion. I'm not an adjuster. I
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
deal with insurance at all. But shouldn't it be then the mindset of the person, the buyer, the
Yes.
new the new soon to be homeowner, to think everything that goes into purchasing the home and everything that goes into protecting the home once you have it should be happening at the same time.
Yes.
Meaning
Yep.
mindset wise. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. 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 And it's a mindset that you're purchasing something important, like a job, a friend, a marriage. You hope it's the one time that you do it. So, that's how important it should be. Preparation wise, you should treat it like getting prepared to have a kid, because that's going to stay with you and whatnot. So the same way you would make sure, the person who's pregnant is comfortable, and everything, that all their appointments and stuff, you should do a point check like that when you get your home.
Almost like a
But that's
checklist.
the services I offer, because no, everyone doesn't want to, no one wants to read the fine print, and I've pretty much gone through enough contracts to just let you know what your home looks like and what you may need in it, like
Yeah.
that. So, but
Okay, so
if I'm not around,
what'd you say?
but if I'm not around,
Yeah, yeah,
everyone
yeah,
should
yeah, yeah.
really
Well,
go
that's
hard when they
one
buy
of the
the
reasons
apartment.
why we're doing this right now. Hopefully some people will take some messages from this and maybe reach out to you and everyone. All of his information will be in the description of this video. Um, but you don't just do this. You do a bunch of other stuff, don't you? You help people with all kinds of stuff from a finance perspective, right?
Yeah. So when I started to look for a career that would make me happy, whether I had a good day or not, was to help people. And after a while, I fell on this business, doing REO inventories for certain banks, and I met an adjuster, who let me know exactly what I was doing on these inspections and what leads to them and everything. She ran with me for 2 years before I got my license, and um, I figured, once I learned that I was the one who was going to be putting the worth together, and these homeowners would be really depending on me, then I made it my business to learn the policies so that they'd be happy with me, number one, and then I would be happy knowing that they fully know what's going on out there. So once I did that, I was like, what else can I help people with? And I did some research and stuff, and also got my life insurance policy, because I learned, just like home insurance, we're not reading the fine print. We're just saying, yeah, I got insurance. It's like a cop stopping you in a car and you got your PIP, you feel safe with the PIP. Something happens to the vehicle, you're not mad. PIP is not enough, but it's enough for them to feel comfortable and say, I'm not going to get a ticket. I might not go to jail
Yeah.
if I don't have this insurance. So yeah, and that's why I chose life insurance as well, because I get down to the policies, and then they say, yes, of course I have life policy, because that gives them a sense of, if you're speaking in a conversation, everyone's not going to look at you funny. You have a family, and you got policy, but they don't know what's in their policy, just like the homes. So I went ahead and started studying those life policies and just catching what people weren't catching. And this time around, you can't wait for a catastrophe to happen for that. So I've tried to find a way to reach out to the public as much as possible, because when that catastrophe happens, there's no fixing that catastrophe.
Yeah.
Like, I'll fix your roof,
Yeah.
Get your dog houses back up on the roof, your pipes right. That kind of catastrophe is done for. And if you're not prepared, like a home, you can really come out your pocket, because you need to be right. You're not leaving that situation, period. And that situation is not escaping you. You can't run away from it. You have to financially take care of it, which would be a burden if you're not prepared for it.
All right. So you're helping people get with their getting life insurance. Okay. So talk a little bit about that. Look, yeah, I want to get life insurance, but I think I'm gonna live forever. Don't we all? So
Yep, yep,
right,
yep,
right.
yep.
So we hesitate. We're like, yeah, I'll deal with that later. Come on. It's like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
It's an
and
issue.
I'm a victim too.
Okay.
So
So how? What is it? What's the incentive? How you get somebody to say, hey, make that move right now, not tomorrow, not next week.
I there's different tiers of it according to according to who you're speaking to, and you find out the specifics of that person, their life, their age, and then you know exactly what to offer them. So I go to the youngins. My thing is, if something happens to you, but if we think we're gonna live forever, and
Yeah, man.
we at least look seasoned, then the youngins, they triple quadruple on that at 18 and 22 and 25. But I'm able to reach the common sense and say, so if you pass tomorrow, who are you giving the bills to? Or like the youngins, who are you passing that bag along to? And they're like, hey, and since they're at their age, this is just, and if you're working, and even if you're not working, I'm able to speak to some of these kids' parents, and they would be willing to pay. Let's say I had a 22-year-old. He had a little extra money, so at $106 a month, he gets a $1.5 million policy. A 35-year term, which he could renew when that 35 years comes. But so I devised another plan, which we'll talk about after that 35 years comes, so he can get rid of his life insurance. But at 22 years old, that's what he's getting. So um, also, you remind, especially females, in these times, you're just not meeting somebody at 18, 19 after college and getting married and having kids anymore. So if you go ahead and get this policy while you're young, whenever you decide to have children, number one, your price is locked at a young person's age, who even the system and algorithms say, ooh, they still got forever to live. But if you wait 10 years, as society has now have it, 30s and 40-year-old women are having babies. And if you didn't get a policy from when you were 18, then now you're having a child, not only when you're more near death, but statistically and medically, you're called a complication pregnancy because you're over 30, 35, maybe. I think it's a complication possible. So then they take all that into a factor, and now you might be paying 200, 300, and then once the child comes, they'll charge you a little extra to add the child, like a not like, but it's a rider. And if you don't have children, and like I said, you get it by 22, like one example, he'll stay at $106. And when he has a child, all he's got to do is give me $30 to add another 50, 60,000 for the child,
Gotcha.
and if anything was to happen to that child.
Yeah.
So that's how, I go ahead with the younger people, because the thing that works the most is, you're going to really let your parents pay for that, because now, again, in this age of society, we didn't have this when we were younger. The public will now help you if your cause is big enough, but before, it was the 6 degrees, it was the family. Even if they didn't want to, it's such an event that they all have to, and then it hurts just a whole bunch of people. It could leave a bad taste in the mouth, because I mean, they could have loved you, but if they have to
That's
go through
expensive.
stuff after you're gone,
Yeah.
the human mind starts to form a little resentment and stuff. So you want everybody to kind of transition without a problem with you, so, and you don't want to be a burden. Go ahead and do that.
No, no, and plus it's expensive like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Funerals and
Yeah.
everything else. Okay, so we're talking about life insurance. Now, are there any other benefits? Like anything else relative to life insurance or investing? In other words, I'm 22 or I'm 35.
Hmm.
I'm thinking about, look, today Nobody has a job. Everybody's unemployed. Everybody's a self-employed, right? Uh, business guru or almost a business guru, right?
Right.
You know, most people are aspiring to something greater than the 9 to 5, 10 to 6, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're talking about things like insuring your home, life insurance, that's all great. But I'm in my mid 20s or I'm in my mid 30s or mid 40s or even 50s. Are there things that I can do right now to kind of get myself set, started, so that 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, in other words, how do I help myself while I'm working on my dreams? You got stuff going on with that? Like, what else you got going on?
Yes, what I do with that is, especially what I'm talking about to the young people, is prevention. It's just is prevent your later years needing in your later years.
Okay,
And
what does
and
that mean?
learn from someone who didn't. At this age stage, I have to be super aggressive, which is, at this point, with a little more work, I can, make it happen. But you give someone that young, um, a certain kind of a budget when you're talking about 1099 people, because these young kids are not making their own money. It's a thing where you have to get into them and add to their budget already. So once you show them that's what the importance is, and then you give them a price. Let's say I give a price of $200 a month. It becomes, make sure you have this $200 a month, because whether life goes up or down,
You got to have that.
you make sure this $200 a month goes to this program here, because when it's all said and done and you say, I don't want to work no more, then you'll be able to not work. But and those are for those people who don't get money consistently. It could be a bad month, a good month, of course, as opposed to those who have a job and then that check is consistent. So that's how I appeal to those who are not getting consistent, or they're working for themselves, they own their own job or anything like that. And the biggest appeal is, like I said, the preparation, where we do a whole package where it's included in this 200. It would be a death benefit. Um, if you're married, um, you have a child, or whomever may be taking the responsibility of your child or your family when you pass away, we calculate 10 years of that lost parent or parent's income and continue that income monthly. Example, let's say they're both making 3-4 thousand a month. John and Mary. John passes away, that 4,000 is gone. So for the year, that's 48,000. We calculate that times 10 years. So that's 10 years of that 4 grand that's going to keep coming, even
Really?
though the parent is gone. It
Really?
eases the transition. Yeah. And that's the only and most important, we feel, that it does, is eases the transition, as well as it doesn't take away from the life that they've lived other than the presence of their
And,
of their
and so
parent.
you have something for that now
Yep,
that
yep,
people can
yep,
take
yep.
advantage of?
Yep,
Really?
yep. So then there'd be more, the income, we'd give 10 years of that income, and then we put them in a program for whatever their mortgage for that home, if they happen to own a home, the mortgage will be paid off, the credit cards will be paid off, the vehicle will be paid off. And I guess depending on the child's age, if it's young or you don't have a child yet, we'll handle education. We'll just go ahead.
So wait, so back up. So we're talking, because usually when people are thinking about insurance, you're thinking about, all right, well, this catastrophe happened, whatever. Okay, so now you get this death benefit, right? You get a check, right? And then it ends there. But you're talking
Mm,
about something completely different now.
yeah, completely different. Yep, yep, covering your whole family. And once again, you cannot replace the family member. That is enough for the families to handle and take care of. So you get this package together that at the at least, you know, I'm sure they'd rather have the person back instead of all those benefits, but since that can't happen, you can go ahead and live the life that that person would have wanted you to live if they were still around.
So, what's the minimum for somebody to get involved with something like this? And you said it, and they would have to be committed for at least 10 years. Is that
The
correct?
no, that's the benefit is the salary we're
Is
gonna
for
give
10 years.
is for 10 years. Yeah,
10 years.
that four
Okay.
that 4,000 a month will come in the mail every month for the
Yeah, for
next
10
10 years.
years. Now I understand. Okay. So, what's the minimum? How does somebody get started with you? I mean, obviously, they're
Um,
going to reach out to you.
yeah, they'll reach out to me and then they'll give me the information of their family, how many kids that they have. I also like to find out what their dreams are. Some people don't want to wait till they're 65 to retire. Some people want to retire at 40 or 50. So it depending on where you at again, you could be that could be 20 years from now, but you might have the money to be able to do that. It
So, we're
could be
beyond, so we've gone just beyond a little bit further than life insurance now. Because now you're
yes.
talking about retirement.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep, yep,
I
yep,
want to
yep,
retire, but I'm 32. I want to retire by the time I'm 56.
yep. I can put the numbers for you according to whatever your hopes and dreams are. Once I
And that's
put that
based
number,
on them. It's based on you guys determining a monthly amount or some type of package that they would have to stick to.
yes, that they would have to stick to a target. Like, all right, my sister-in-law, she had her baby. They bought a house, took all their savings, dumped it in a home. Right after that, had two kids. They're doing well. So, but just handling all of that for about 5 years, completely upgrading the home, um, setting her office up, setting his office up in the house. So now she was ready. Now that the kids are bigger, and I don't think we're gonna have any more kids now because she's got all the kids she wants. She's like, okay, and she's 36 years old. 36 years old. She says, I want to be done by 50, and I'm not trying to skimp on my luxuries. If I want 10 Coach bags, I want to be able to buy 10 Coach bags. If I want to
The
take the whole
lifestyle as
family,
well. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
she was like, I don't want to skimp on any of it. I was like, okay, so what's your number when you want to stop? I want this much, and how do you want it? I want my kids to get this. I want my kids to have this. If I pass, I want my kids to get it this way. I want a monthly everything. So then I put that all together and let them know what the pricing is. Once we get to the price, it's like shopping.
yeah,
You throw everything in your cart, and then it's
yeah.
like, ooh, I'm gonna have to put this one back. Ooh, I'm gonna have to put this one back. So
All right,
we can,
this sounds phenomenal, but how affordable is it? Because this sounds like it would be expensive. I want to retire in 14 years, and I want to have this certain lifestyle. Sounds expensive, like
yeah,
right?
14 years, which would be around where we're at now, because any more than
Who's we?
14
Who's
years,
we?
misery loves company.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm going backwards. Anyway,
So, anyone in the older group where now you're looking at, like you said, 15 years to finish, you have to go aggressive
yep.
because
Okay.
just like the life insurance part,
Now when you say aggressive, does aggressive mean aggressive investments or aggressive in terms of how much I'm investing?
how much you're investing.
So in other words, what you're talking about is safe or relatively safe. You're not being aggressive with regard to the investments. You're being
Right.
more aggressive in terms of how much you're laying out,
Contributing. Yep. Your
contributing.
contributions have to be aggressive, and you have to make up for the time that you haven't
Okay.
invested, as opposed to that
So
18-year-old
let's
who,
pick a
you
number. Pick a
Mhm.
number. What is this? And it would have to be like monthly payments type of thing or
Yeah,
annual?
yeah.
Monthly.
I'll use me as a guinea pig. I'll sacrifice myself for the world.
Well, here we go. Let's go.
So naturally, I don't want to be working in another 20 years. But you take the metrics of the world and 60 of society, 65 in this country, 65 years old is when you can take your 100% Social Security. That would be another 10 years for me, 10, 11 years. But like
A
you
little more
say,
than that. A little
Yeah,
more than that
yeah,
for
you
you.
know.
I'm older than you. It's a little more than that for you.
You know, so if you give yourself, a couple of years because life might happen, then someone like me would have to put really sacrifice and do 1 to 2 thousand a month so that I can
See, I'm
have.
thinking, wait, time out, stop.
Hmm.
I'm thinking you're gonna
Hmm.
see something like 5 or 10 a month.
Five of what, 10,000? Oh, no, 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 no.
So wait,
Investment wise, if you're talking about stocks
so
and gains and stuff, maybe, but
so when you're talking about 1 to 2 thousand a month, but consistently for the next 10, 14 years,
yep,
15
then
years,
I'll probably be sitting somewhere around 1.5. If I was to do the
1.5.
2,000, it'd probably be like 2.1 million. It had to be that aggressive. But to go back to the example of the youngin for the little money he's
Well,
doing.
before you even go back there, let's just talk about
Mm-hmm.
that for a second. You know, we live in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
right? So many people live in cities, especially because of the cost of living. Going out, you get one drink, you're already spending like $40. You feel like it anyway, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
certainly when you're talking about, $20, but you're talking about with tip and everything else, you've
Mm-hmm.
already spent your money. You like
Yep.
go out to dinner, take a trip, get a laptop. How much money do people on average, especially people that we know, on average spend every month that they have no idea where that money went?
They really don't. I bring it back to perspective sometimes. I say, hey, where'd you go last weekend? And we went out. What did you spend there? Even a movie theater is going to garner 100, $200,
Yeah.
and then that's
And,
when I'm like,
and
no.
here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good
Mm-mm.
thing, right? We
Yep.
need the outlet. I'm not,
Yeah.
not okay. But that said, in terms of perspective, as you put it, and
Hmm.
priority, let's think
Hmm.
about it. Somebody like you says, "Look, you want to retire in 15 years. I'm going to tell you, you need to find a way to come up with $2,000 a month for the next 15 years." Sounds like a lot of money. So 2,000 a month. What's that? 500 a week. Okay, so it's $500 a week. I know, and we know people who go out and they're spending that every week easily, and they got
Locally.
nothing to show for it but a good time
Yep.
and a hangover.
Yep.
Am I
Yes.
wrong? And a
Not
hangover.
100% right.
Okay.
Hmm.
But those same people that will spend that money, because I know the people who are listening right now will be like, yeah, but that's a lot of money. $500 a week. You crazy. But yet you just spent that on what? And in 10 years, a year from now, you'll be broke.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And for the men, don't let you
Yeah.
think. Don't let us think that our night is going further than what we planned when we left. That 500 to turn to 700 to turn 1,000
Yeah, man.
easily for that one night.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
all you'll have is a good memory the next day.
That's one of the things that I know we're going off topic a little bit, but in a way, not really. Because you just shared something that's pretty amazing. And it's one of the reasons why we do this is to showcase all these amazing things that are already there, right? These are we don't, we're not recreating the wheel. We're just presenting things that have always been available,
Hmm.
and we're providing access.
Yeah.
But access costs some money
Does.
and your time,
Yep.
right? I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago um, about their desires. And he called me up and he's like, Mark, I just want to call and ask you for your advice. And it seems like he calls me up every 2, 3 times a week to ask me for advice. It's a
Hmm.
mentorship type of thing.
Okay. Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. But I said to him, I said, listen, man, pick something, commit to it, and more than commit to it, have some conviction about what you're doing. And what I mean by conviction is a big difference between commitment and conviction, right?
Absolutely.
Conviction means you embrace it, you believe it, it's a part of you. You eat,
Hmm.
sleep, and drink this thing, right? You're
Yep.
willing to live the blood, sweat, and tears to make this thing happen, this dream happen. You
Hmm.
are you have faith, right?
Yeah.
Commitment just means, you're committed to doing something. I'm committed to getting up tomorrow morning. I'm committed to getting up tomorrow morning at 4:30 in the morning. Does that mean you're going to wake up at 4:30 in the morning? Absolutely not. Doesn't mean anything. How many times we say that, right? I'm committed. It's New Year's. I'm committed to get in shape.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
committed.
But to
It means
convict
nothing.
yourself when you don't do it is
It's a
better.
word.
You're constantly, oh, you're this, you're that, because you're not accomplishing your goal. So that conviction is what you need.
Yeah, you need right. So the main thing is I told him, I said, listen, man, you gotta decide it and then go get it done. Wake up every day and focus on that thing. And if something costs you some money to do, well, do you believe in what you want to do? You have some conviction about your thing. Like, so what? You have to spend some money. You're spending money already, aren't you?
For nothing.
You're already spending money. So what? But I'd rather spend the money on something that's going to really get me where I want to be. I had a
Hmm.
friend of mine tell me once years ago, but pick something and focus intensely for 1 year on that one thing. And that'll take care of the next 10 years.
Yeah, well.
1 year can cover the next 10 years of your life, which really means you can cover the rest of your life.
Hmm.
But, listen, it means you got to do the work, not look for the Hail Mary, not look for the
Right.
grand slam home run or the
Not
trick,
happening.
the magic, right? you know, and but you don't already know where I'm about to go with that.
You're not a
you know,
magician, but they ask you to do magic tricks.
right. So everybody, as you may know by now, I do a lot of business funding, let's say financing for people. We have our app, Spartan Café, and we help people with financing and funding, and they actually are helping themselves and doing very well in there. I'm proud to say. But consistently, and you're a testament to this, how often do I hear this phrase? Hey, Mark, brother, what's up, man? Can you, work your magic?
I need some money. I don't
Work
know
your
if I'm
magic.
qualified, but
Come
work
on,
the
man.
magic.
This is
Make it
what you
happen for
do.
me. Call
Hook
me
me
back.
up.
I'll wait for your yes.
Yeah, hook me up. Hook me up. This is the same person maybe that I spoke to 6 months before who asked for funding. And I said, well, look, you need to go through these check boxes. I'll help you out, but you need to do this A, B, C, and D. Just do these things and pay for these things. And in 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, you'll be in a position to get the funding you want. And what happens 6 months later? They've done nothing.
And they
They're
ask you
waiting
the
for
same
somebody to
question
do
the
something
whole
for them.
time.
Right, right. And they're waiting for somebody to do something for them. You know what I'm saying? So, and the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because what you're talking about is phenomenal. Somebody might think, well, 10, 15 years, 14 years sounds like a long time. Any
Mm-mm.
adult that's older than 26 knows that that's like no time.
No time.
It's a
It's going to be
blink.
Christmas already.
And what's worse is I'll take it a step further. Rather, that time goes by anyway.
Regardless, you do it or not.
Are you where you were? Are you today where you were last year relative to your goals?
Right.
I mean, think about it. Are
Yep.
you? I mean, today, are you where you were last month? What's going on?
Yeah. What's
Spend the
your
money.
report? What's your answer? And then analyze your answer.
Yeah, man. I
Is there something
guarantee.
going on here, or are you doing the right thing or
Yeah.
not?
I
Yeah.
guarantee you, most people, if they really thought about it, and if they really believed in what they're interested in doing, if it meant coming up with $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month, they could find that money.
Yeah, they can. Hmm.
And so I just wanted to say that as you were talking because we see these things all the time, these videos and these posts on social media, and these people coming up and saying sharing some amazing things that people can take advantage of. And everybody gets all rah rah like a cheerleader about it. They're excited. Yeah, I'm about to do this thing. But when the rubber hits the road and they have to spend $500, $1,000, $10,000, but it means that they could have 500,000 in a year or 20,000 in 3 months or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
they won't spend the money.
They really
And
won't.
I wonder why that is, right? You think about that. What are they waiting for? Or what are they
Yeah.
hoping is going to happen?
Instant gratification. That's what they're hoping for.
Instant gratification. And that's the thing. I guess that's the way of the world these days with AI and with the internet and with everything that's going on. And even before that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're used to people are expecting the world. But I got to tell you, I've been doing this, you know, general business development and stuff like that since the early '90s. I've not seen to this day maybe one outlier of somebody who had some major awesome thing happen where they started on Monday and the success happened on Tuesday.
Nothing.
I don't. Where does that happen?
Yeah. It's like that guy going to the gym for the first day and he comes out with the swole arms. It's like, no, 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 that didn't happen in one day. Why are you walking like that?
Well, and that's the thing. Every overnight success might have taken somebody 30 years for that overnight success. You see the success, but you don't see the time that it took them to get there.
Exactly. They see the end result. That
And
middle passage is
we're
rough.
yeah, and we're on looking at social media and YouTube and everything else, and we're gauging our success based on somebody else's success. And what they're missing in these videos. A lot of times, the information is phenomenal. I think there's too much desire to critique everybody's information and not enough time focused on do the work, show
Mm-hmm.
the work.
Yep.
Maybe, everybody, including us, needs to show how this thing goes. It's not you start today and tomorrow you're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a process.
Yep.
Because along the way, you're going to make mistakes. And
Mm-hmm.
those mistakes are going to help you build some character and some wisdom about what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it. So that when you receive that success, those blessings, you can understand how and why you got there. So not just for your own success, but so that you can help somebody else. Anyway, I could
Yep.
ramble on about this stuff. It
Yeah,
means a
yeah,
lot to
yeah.
me.
And that's the main thing. The last thing you said is always the main thing, that you can help somebody else. And uh, like I said, I was trying to figure what I wanted to do or how I wanted to affect myself uh, in the world, as a career. And it was always, man, information is what's killing us. So, if I can learn it and regurgitate it, and let people know the goodness of it, and it really won't hurt like you think it is. And matter of fact, I'll even read the fine print for you.
Yeah, well,
Just
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, because when you say help, you help. And then hopefully it's just that one time. You don't have to
But
come back to it.
it's information. It's not just the information. It's the willingness to apply that information, right?
Yeah.
It's the willingness to take that step and then sink your teeth in to what it is
Hmm.
that you're starting.
Yep.
Put the blinders on and just get it done. My martial arts instructor used to always say to me, right? My instructor used to always say, you know, take care of business. That's all he used to say to me. I mean, and he just take care of business.
Hmm.
Just get it done. Don't
TC.
stop at 80%. You're not there. Stop succeeding. Stop. I'm not, no, excuse me. I said that shit all wrong, right? I said stop succeeding. Stop celebrating, I got clients that we get them started, right? Maybe we're helping them get funding or get some business credit, stuff like that. And they sign up and they pay their money and they're fired up and they get started. And within their first week, sometimes within their first week or two, they're able to get like 5 and 6 figures. And in their mind, they're like, oh, I've done it. All I need to do is get this money, this amount, and then I'm there. And I always say to them, don't celebrate, stop.
Yeah.
You just started. You're just
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
Because what do you want? Do you want to just go make some money, then grab that money and use it until it's gone? And then what? You're gonna come back to me and, oh, I need more money.
Mm.
Or do you want to make some money and then leverage that so that money eventually starts working for you. So it starts making money. So your money starts to make money for you.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, and that's you growing your money, not some contribution from your job, not any outside entity. So when people, like to say, I make, you know, this is I make without working for it,
Yeah,
without
yeah,
being in a job. I had to work for the money to invest it, but like you said, instead of going out, this is what I did. Now you can call yourself self-made.
yeah. Oh, listen, you can go out. Just listen. If you just made $600, don't spend $600.
Or at least not every weekend.
Right, right, right. You can go out. You can have a balance, but find a way to leverage what you have access to do better.
Yep. You can have a good, just as good time with the $300, and I'm being generous. It should be
You
just
know what's
150,
funny?
and that's it.
You know what's funny? People will be afraid to spend. Let's say they go to you or somebody like me or all the people that we know that do what we do, and you have a program, and you could show case studies. You could show what the government says about it, right? You can have them Google it and break it down, and it's legitimize it all over the place.
Yeah.
What you're offering, you could show that, and people can see all of that. But then you say to them, listen, you're going to have to come up with X amount every month for this to work. You have to do some work. You have to do this every month, whatever that is.
Mhm.
And that person, when they're insecure about spending the money, they want to make sure, even though it's all out there for them to see,
Yeah.
whether it's some government agencies showing them, tell them, yeah, this is legit, this works, or whatever, right?
Hmm.
You talk about the fine print. You're bringing it all forward, but they're hesitant to spend that money. Oh no, I don't want to be scammed. And it gets in the back of their mind. I don't want to
Yeah.
make a mistake. But that same person will go spend that same $2,000 or $6,000 on some harebrained scheme, whatever. Right? We see them those investments. Somebody, oh man, listen, I got this great deal. You should spend this XYZ money and just put up this money. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Watch, this crypto thing, man. I'm telling you, by March, you're gonna be wealthy.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
wealthy. That's it. No, don't worry about it. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
And I'm telling you, you don't
Yep.
have to do nothing. You don't have to do anything. And that's the magic word, right? The magic phrase. You don't got to do nothing. You just
Yeah.
put this money in this investment, whatever, and in 6 months, 3 months, whatever, forget about you're gonna have a little cash. You're gonna be wealthy, man. We're talking about private jets. You know how many times I
Oh wow.
hear, how many times I hear from people, by March, I'm gonna be, you just wait and see. I'm gonna be wealthy because I put some money to such and such. And what happens? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
They lost their money.
Yeah.
They can't go get it back. They don't even know who they invested it with. If you asked them to break down that investment, they couldn't break it down for you. They couldn't even tell you what it was about
Yep.
in some cases. So they go spend that money on something, right? That because they don't have to do anything but give the money away. And it's just going to happen for them.
That was the work giving them the money.
That was it. Now I
Yeah.
don't have to do anything. All I got to do is sit back and watch my dividends grow.
See, I'm working smarter.
Right. And 100% of the time, you see those deals never come through year after year after year after year with the same people. And you tell that same person, hey, this is real, but you're going to have to put an hour a week of time into this. You're going to have to learn a little something, but it's going to work, but it's not going to
Yep.
happen in a day, in a week, in a month. Maybe it's going to be 3 months. Maybe it's going to be a year. Maybe it's going to be
Yeah.
10 years, but it
Yeah.
works. And you
Yes,
know
it
how it
does.
works? Look at everybody else who's been doing it for the last 50 years, 100 years.
It's like prophecy, because this is a product. You can show them up to 100 years of their life each year what they're going to have and what they'll have when it comes time that they want to take advantage of the benefit. But I guess it's just too good to be true, because on a harebrained scheme, you can just dream into the future, but it's not guaranteed. You don't even have a number, and you're calling out jets and all that. You don't even know what this is going to,
Well,
to make for you.
I guess there's I guess you got to think about it like the idea of manifesting things, right?
Mm.
If I think it, I can will it into existence. But the
Hmm.
problem is, you got to hear that word will. Willing something into existence, that's not some simple little like task. That's not like sitting down watching a movie.
Mm-mm.
You're not just thinking it and willing it are not the same thing. I think that people are confusing thinking something into existence with willing something into existence. I can
Yeah.
will something into existence, and any and everybody can.
Right.
But to will it, it takes 100% of you,
Yeah. Physical,
all of you,
mental,
physically, mentally,
everything.
spiritually,
Yeah.
all that you are has to be focused
Hmm.
in that to that point, and you have to stay and you have to live that life of that manifestation. In other words, you have to live the lifestyle of the person who's willing that thing into existence. You have to already be living that,
Yeah.
and you have to be
In your mind.
thinking that way, speaking that way, committed into that way, and then doing the things that represent that manifestation.
Yep.
So if all I do is pay some money to someone, and I'm just waking up thinking about it and daydreaming about something, right? And I just you and I just talk about it all day long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. But you stay in your PJs all day long.
Nothing's gonna be great. But we got that magic, Mark. Let's do the magic. Sim sim salabim.
There you go.
We paid.
In any case, listen, this was really great. Everyone, this is Harold Marcelin, or John Marcelin, his actual first name. We're going to have all of his information in the description of this video. If you need to get in touch with him, or if you just need to DM him or talk with him about anything relative to insurance, policies, or investing, things like that. I'm Mark Moore, founder and CEO of Spartan Café. We'll see you again next time. And anything else we want to share?
No, no, that's fun. Thanks for having me, man. I'm always, this is my passion, so I'm always happy to speak about these things and
Yeah,
help
man.
people out.
All right. Outstanding. All right. Until next time, everybody.
Take care.